This is an NBC 15 News special presentation, Preparing for Hurricane Season 2020, sponsored by Whitson Custom Modular Home Builders.
My roof just blew off my house.
Right now we're in the middle of a hurricane and there's not really anything we can do.
Please do not depend on a shelter.
It was like going from black and white television to 4K television.
It doesn't happen very often, but it happened twice during that storm with me.
But it was like being in a 50-mile wide tornado.
Leaving the floor and coming down, holding on to whatever I could hold on to keep from going out the roof.
What we have in Baldwin County are shelters of last resort, and they are just that. They should be your last and final option.
Hello and welcome. I'm Chief Meteorologist Alan Seals. Hurricane season is officially underway. It's the time of year when some of the world's most violent storms can batter coastal communities, potentially changing them forever. Hurricanes are some of the most powerful and destructive acts of Mother Nature, and this year the season started before the official date. This season, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, predicts 13 to 19 named storms, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 6 of them becoming major hurricanes. Now, exactly what that may mean and not mean, I'll talk about in a few moments. This year is a milestone for the Gulf Coast, but not a positive one. 15 years since Katrina devastated our region, New Orleans flooded when the levees failed, and along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, it was historic storm surge combined with wind that did damage like this. Hundreds of people lost their lives. Hundreds of homes were destroyed. Katrina was a historic storm, the most expensive in modern U.S. history. It started as a tropical depression, then a tropical storm in the Bahamas, late August 2005. It hit South Florida as a Category 1 and then took a turn toward the southwest in the Gulf of Mexico. The water was warm, the wind shear was light. That allowed it to become a Category 5 with a large eye. And just before landfall, it weakened to a Category 3, still a major storm with major impact on the Gulf Coast. Since 2005, technology has improved to let us see a little more detail than we have seen in the past. Meteorologist Kyle Hansen explains.
2020 marks the 15th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, and while a central Gulf Coast landfall was forecasted days ahead back in 2005, there have been many advancements in forecasting since then.
I think the thing that stands out the most is the improvement in our computer model guidance. You look at the average track errors from the National Hurricane Center, basically what an average 3-day error was back in 2005 in Katrina is what our average error is now at 5 days out.
Computer models today can output forecasts at a higher resolution thanks to technological advances in computing power, which has led to a smaller margin of error. That means watches and warnings from an impending storm can be issued earlier and with more precision.
Hurricane watches came out about 36 hours ahead of time, and the warnings came out about 24 hours. Well, we've been able to add 12 hours to those watches and warnings, where now the hurricane watches are at 48 hours and the warnings are at 36 hours.
This is a big deal because it now gives you more lead time to make decisions whether you should stay at home or evacuate. These decisions are also made easier due to dramatic improvements in satellite with the launch of a new satellite called GO-16 in 2016.
I tell people all the time it was like going from black and white television to 4K television when we got the new satellites compared to old.
Let's compare a satellite loop of Hurricane Katrina in 2005 with Hurricane Dorian just recently in 2019. Notice how much smoother the loop looks for Dorian. That's because satellite images can now update as fast as every 30 seconds compared to what used to be 15 minutes. The quality of today's satellite images are also much higher. This allows for meteorologists to get a better look at the structure of the hurricane, especially the eye. Whether it's forecasting or observations, both have improved significantly over the last 15 years. The bottom line, the better the alert process, the more we are protected.
Outside of individual tropical storm and hurricane forecasts, when the season starts, everybody wants to know how many storms are there going to be. Well, there's an answer. It's called a seasonal outlook, but there's some things it means and some things that it doesn't mean. So, for example, the Hurricane Seasonal Outlook covers this entire area from the Gulf of Mexico to the coast of Africa, north of the equator to almost to the Arctic Circle. That's 12 to 18 million square miles. So when you hear a seasonal forecast, it's not just for right here, it's for the entire Atlantic, Caribbean, and Gulf. And these seasonal forecasts come from universities, from private businesses, from companies. Anyone who wants to make a forecast can do so. Each one has some value, statistical value, but it doesn't tell you exactly what's going to happen right here. So when you hear these forecasts, which are updated just like regular forecasts, keep in mind that they're mostly focusing on the number of storms within that huge area. Most of them don't tell you how strong the storms will be. Most of them don't tell you what the location of the storms will be. And most of them don't tell you how long the storms will last. So they have some value, but for us as individuals, we still have to watch that forecast day by day. And when there's a hurricane out there, data is critical. We want to know the wind speed, the pressure, how fast it's moving. And the best way to get that is to go into the storm. NBC 15's Jaysha Patel introduces you to an airman who does exactly that to keep us safe.
Before a hurricane hits, people are able to prepare and hunker down for impact. But who are the people that help warn us? They're called hurricane hunters.
It's hours of boredom interrupted by moments of sheer terror. There are times when we get knocked around quite a bit, and it takes everybody on the crew to remain safe.
Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Wilmot is a pilot and director of operations for the 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron at the Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi. It's people like him who help gather critical information we need to know. They respond within 16 hours when there's a call for assistance, and they fly straight into a hurricane's eye wall to gather data using instruments like a drop sonde.
We do it in the eye wall to get wind speeds, direction, pressures, temperatures, all the way down to the surface.
The information they gather also goes to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, who helps send out alerts and warnings to communities across the nation, so you're ready for what's coming. Wilmot says the most memorable mission he's been on is Hurricane Irma, when it was off the coast of Cuba.
Stories within the unit, they said nothing to worry about. The worst it gets is one pilot is trying to keep the wings level, and the other one is on the throttles trying to keep the airspeed under control as well. They said it doesn't happen very often, but it happened twice during that storm with me.
On top of hurricane season beginning, the hurricane hunters will have to take extra safety precautions this year because of the coronavirus pandemic. You can imagine it's hard to social distance on an aircraft. Their protocols include getting on and off base, switching crews, and maintaining aircraft cleanliness. Wilmot says the National Hurricane Center is predicting that this hurricane season will be more active, but it's something that isn't scaring him away.
This September will be 32 years in the military, and this is probably one of the most rewarding and direct response to the American public jobs that I've ever had. It's a direct link. You know exactly who you're flying for every time you go up.
Jaysha Patel, NBC 15 News.
If you'd like to see the exact numbers for this year's hurricane season prediction, visit our website at mynbc15.com. Still to come, seeking shelter during the coronavirus pandemic, how local leaders are preparing to keep you safe through what could be 2 disasters. Plus, staying safe while staying home. Now you can make your home withstand a hurricane. That's up in 90 seconds.
Whitson Builders want you to know building a new home doesn't have to be a hassle. The enhancements of modular home building have improved construction time, cost, energy efficiency, and safety. In fact, FEMA is recommending modular homes in hurricane and tornado exposed areas. According to a FEMA report, modular homes hold up better than traditionally built homes due to the inherent structural strength of modular construction. Visit our website or give us a call to see all the benefits modular homes provide. Owning a home on the coast doesn't need to be a dream. Let Whitson Builders make it a reality.
COVID-19 has changed our way of life. Streets are empty, local businesses closed. Their owners trying to stay in business and can't pay employees. The government's assistance may not be enough. There is hope. If you own a business impacted by the crisis, you may have business interruption coverage, but insurance companies across the country are already denying claims.
Maloney Lyons is here to help. Give us a call. We'll review your policy and give advice without anyone having to come to our office. There's also no fee unless we collect for you.
We are Maloney Lyons, and we will still personally return your call.
When storms become stronger, sheltering in place becomes less of an option. Few houses are built that can withstand a major hurricane, but homes can be constructed to increase the odds of weathering the storm. NBC 15's Darwin Singleton shows us the value of making your home a fortified home.
Roof damage is a hurricane trademark. We've all seen enough of those blue tarps to attest to that. But there's something you may not know. As of last year, if your roofing job exceeds $2,500, those doing the repairs must have an Alabama roofer's license. Ask for it. It's an effort to make sure repairs are made by qualified roofers, a new requirement added to the list of building codes mostly designed to protect your home even before a hurricane ever approaches your neighborhood. But what about new construction? There are basic requirements, but there's nothing stopping you from exceeding those requirements if you're willing to pay for them.
Concrete trucks were lying down 36th Street to 98, pouring concrete, pouring it for days to build that house.
And that's the big... Remember this house after Florida's Hurricane Michael? The one left standing in Mexico Beach after all the others were reduced to rubble?
The house was built out of a lot of anxiety and paranoia to build something that would survive.
Dr. LeBron Lackey and his uncle Russell King built their family's vacation home to withstand winds up to 250 miles per hour. That's 93 miles per hour faster than the minimum wind speed of a Category 5 hurricane. It's called a fortified home. This one might be a little overbuilt for you and your family, but you could buy similar peace of mind for less money.
We have Habitat affiliates doing it at the, that run a really tight budget, and we have everybody from home, $1 million homes on the bay, so it really can be done at any level.
And this video shows building a home using fortified standard designs can be well worth the cost. Side-by-side comparisons show one house coming apart in 100-mile-per-hour winds, the other standing relatively untouched. That's the result of building and reinforcement requirements now mandatory in 70% of local jurisdictions across Mobile and Baldwin counties. Some of the fortified home building practices are using special ring-shank nails, metal straps tying the roof to the house's frame, anchors connecting the floor to the foundation, and utilizing impact-rated windows and doors. It worked in this house on Mexico Beach.
So on the side of the house, we got a couple of windows that got struck from debris that was flying. There's no glass in the house.
Besides keeping your home intact during a hurricane, there's another payoff.
There is a little bit of an added expense, but then you also get a large premium discount on your wind insurance for building to that standard.
But perhaps the biggest reward would be discovering that after something like this, your home is still standing. Darwin Singleton, NBC 15 News.
Now, making your home stronger can affect your insurance wind premium, and in a very good way, saving you as much as 50%. In a few minutes, Darwin will be back to tell us how you can save that money. When we talk about staying ready for severe tropical weather, that includes having an evacuation plan. First, find out if you live in a hurricane evacuation zone. Then plan where you would go or how you would get there, and have an alternate route. Leave when you are ordered to do so. Don't wait. Plan for your pets. Most local shelters do not allow them. Hurricane decals are now available from the city of Orange Beach. These stickers are good for 3 years, and they show proof of residency. You may wonder, why do you need this sticker? Well, if there is significant storm damage in the area and only residents are allowed back into restricted areas, this will show officials that you can come back in at the appropriate time. The city of Gulf Shores also has hurricane passes available. Speaking of shelters, we are in the middle of a pandemic during a season that brings tropical threats. Protecting yourself from COVID-19 if you have to evacuate is a safety concern with the deadly virus going around. NBC 15's Kelly Foster has useful information if you end up riding out a storm at a local shelter.
Safety from the storm while protecting from the COVID pandemic. We're charting through new waters this hurricane season. Uncharted waters this hurricane season due to COVID-19. Hurricane shelters will be at reduced capacity during the pandemic. Mobile County emergency management officials say that residents that typically go to a hurricane shelter need to have a plan B. This year, only 25% capacity at each shelter. Mobile County Emergency Management Director Ronnie Adair says they're following CDC guidelines.
Before, we had 25 square feet, 5 foot around each person. Now it's got to be 10 feet, so it's about 110 square feet. So it'll reduce the capacity of any facility we've had by 75%.
24 shelters are in Mobile County, and at reduced capacity, Adair says it may mean opening even more shelters. Medical personnel will be on site screening folks before they can enter.
And anybody that we think are positive or they feel like they're coming down with something, we'll have to isolate them from the main body until we find out for sure.
In Baldwin County, EMA Director Zach Hood is promoting personal responsibility.
We ask that today you identify where you could go in the event that we have to evacuate for a storm. Please do not depend on a shelter.
Hood says the capacity at his 6 shelters will be reduced to 50% or more. Both EMA directors are urging residents to gather supplies and get their hurricane plan in place now.
We're on uncharted ground now, doing 2 disasters together, overlapping. We'll do our best to provide shelter for people that need sheltering and work around the guidelines, the CDC guidelines, and make sure that people are safe as can be.
Safety from the storm while protecting from the COVID pandemic, a task that can be done according to Mobile County Health Officer Bernard Eichel.
And everybody should have a personal plan, and that should be go someplace with family members out of the cone of the storm. So if you think about the storm is going to hit between Mobile and Pensacola, go be with a family member over Mississippi.
Mass sheltering ramps up the risk of contracting COVID-19.
Proximity is what spreads COVID-19, goes from person to person. So the more distance we have, the better people will be. You might even, when you're in close proximity, people wear their mask while underneath the same household roof.
Knowing your evacuation destination now is your best protection.
What we have in Baldwin County are shelters of last resort, and they are just that. They should be your last and final option.
For a complete list of hurricane shelters in Mobile and Baldwin County, go to our website, mynbc15.com, and click the Hurricane Center tab.
Still to come, stocking up for a storm. We take you on a trip through the grocery store and show you what you need for your hurricane preparation kit.
Boss, have you seen the latest report with the effects of chewing tobacco?
Let me see. Yuck! Nobody wants to see that. Watson, you know how I do this job. I ignore the consequences.
Even the nearly 7 million people worldwide dying yearly from smoking and chewing tobacco?
I said ignore, Watson. What are you, a dummy?
Tobacco is no joke. It's so deadly they need you to replace dying smokers. Learn more at thefactsnow.com.
This is an urgent message for all Americans who owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt during the current coronavirus pandemic. If you're struggling to make minimum payments or have fallen past due, you may qualify for National Debt Relief's Debt Reset Program, where you can become debt-free in 24 to 48 months, paying only a fraction of what is owed. Enroll now, and there are no upfront costs. To qualify, you must have at least $10,000 or more in credit card debt, personal loans, medical bills, or collection accounts. If you are facing financial hardship following the pandemic and have fallen behind, are struggling to keep up with minimum payments, or are considering bankruptcy, call National Debt Relief now and speak with a certified debt specialist to see if you qualify for the Debt Reset Program to become debt-free in 24 to 48 months.
Call 800-338-4384. Again, 800-338-4384.
Living on the Gulf Coast means we get a lot of new faces every year, so getting prepared for hurricane season can seem overwhelming. NBC 15's Jamie McGriff walks you through what your shopping trip should look like when it's time to stock up.
When faced with a huge storm like a hurricane, it's important to be prepared. Emergency management agencies tell folks well in advance of the importance to stock up on supplies, Red Cross and other websites offer suggestions on what you should have, like having at least a 3-day supply of water and easy-to-prepare food. So it's time to go to the grocery store. Okay, so we're here at the grocery store. I have my list and my mask. Let's get started. There are a number of items on the list you don't want to forget. And if you're like me, the process of shopping for hurricane supplies can turn into an adventure. I sure could use an extra person. For me, it can be a mental tug of war trying to decide what kind of veggies to get. Carrots. Ooh, peas and carrots. I like peas and carrots. I really do. Okay, so we can get these, stick these in the basket. With canned goods, you need to remember to get a can opener. If you can't find your can opener, make sure that you at least have enough canned goods where you can easily open and get to your food. Otherwise, you could be in for quite a hassle. Remember with your grocery shopping list to keep it all simple. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Moving on to other supplies you need to remember, like grabbing items for your first aid kit. Stock up on your Band-Aids and whatever else that you might need. And having a 7-day emergency supply of your medications. Ooh. You definitely don't want to forget your plastic utensils, your paper plates, plastic plates, bowls, whatever it is that you need, because this is going to come in handy. You may not have access to running water, so you're going to need this. And there's more. Come on. You'll need heavy-duty supplies, like flashlights, extra batteries for those flashlights, a multi-purpose tool, 5-gallon containers for gasoline. And before heading to the checkout, I almost forgot one biggie. Ooh, definitely need water. This is it right here. Water. Gotta have it. Ugh. Finally, it's time to head to the checkout. Fortunately, our kind checkout lady was prepared for all of the stuff I planned to buy. So where are we now?
Total is $85.58.
$85.58, okay, and it's just me. It's a process to get prepared, but you know the saying, it's better to be prepared than sorry. Jamie McGriff, NBC 15 News.
And for more information on what you'll need this hurricane season, we have a list for that on our website, mynbc15.com. Still to come, staying safe while saving money. How hurricane-proofing your home can save you some big bucks in the long run.
Whitson Builders want you to know building a new home doesn't have to be a hassle. The enhancements of modular home building have improved construction time, cost, energy efficiency, and safety. In fact, FEMA is recommending modular homes in hurricane and tornado-exposed areas. According to a FEMA report, modular homes hold up better than traditionally built homes due to the inherent structural strength of modular construction. Visit our website or give us a call to see all the benefits modular homes provide. Owning a home on the coast doesn't need to be a dream. Let Whitson Builders make it a reality.
I feel that I can beat anything in this world but my own cigarette habit. I spend a little over $6 for a pack of cigarettes, and I smoke 2 packs a day. If you calculated what I spent in a week, I could probably pay my family's bills. Family is everything, and I want them to be proud of me.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We all hope to never be in a car accident. But what if you're in one? What should you do? Well, Maloney Lyons has an app for that. Car Crash is a free download from Maloney Lyons for your phone. You can call 911 and show emergency responders exactly where you are. Follow our important to-do list. Capture accident photos and record audio clips to send to our office. Download the Maloney Lyons Car Crash app before you're in one. Only from the office of Maloney Lyons.
Earlier, we told you about how strengthening a home can improve its chancing of surviving a hurricane. While there is a cost, it can save you money in the long run. NBC 15's Darwin Singleton takes a look at the savings and why you may be missing out on some big bucks.
Building a new home isn't cheap. Insuring that home in a hurricane-prone area isn't cheap either. But what if I told you about a way to save big bucks on those premiums, all while improving your home's odds for surviving the next big storm? In fact, you may already qualify if your home is a fortified home. What's a fortified home?
So a fortified home is a home that is built to a building code or a building standard that's above and beyond the normal building code used in the particular town or city.
Says Bradley Flowers, an agent with Portal Insurance in Mobile. And if you have a newly or recently constructed home here along our Gulf Coast, Bradley says you may already be living in a fortified home.
There are more fortified homes in Mobile and Baldwin County than anywhere else in the world or in the country.
Of course, a hurricane-fortified home pays off if a storm should come knocking at your door, but you might be surprised to find out just how much it can save you the rest of the year. Many new home builders are building their houses to meet or beat fortified standards. And if your insurance policy doesn't reflect that, you could be in for some additional savings, says Portal Insurance agent Natasha May.
I ran across people that they didn't know, but I knew the home that they were purchasing was in a neighborhood that were all gold fortified. So I was able to direct them in that way.
There are 3 levels of fortified homes that could save you hundreds on your wind premiums, but it depends on the level of fortification, and there are 3. First, there's a fortified roof, which involves the addition of special structural supports and nails, as well as a high wind and high impact resistant roof cover. You can upgrade a current roof as well, and it can save you 25 to 35% off your wind premium. A step up would be fortified silver. In addition to the roof, there's additional strengthening added to doors and windows to minimize wind intrusion inside the home that could cause your roof to fail. You could reduce your wind premium by 35 to 40%. And then there's fortified gold, installing wind protection from the ground up during initial construction. This can save you 50 to 55% off a typical home's wind premium. You have to have your home certified every 5 years, and getting that certificate usually costs between $300 to $500, but it's money you'll get back on savings very quickly and years into the future.
When you have new home credits, they fade out over a 5-year period as the home ages. With the fortified, it is a permanent credit as long as you keep that certificate active.
Fortifying your home means you get a stronger structure now and lower premiums from now on.
And we've seen the gold fortified homes as low as $450 to about $700 a year.
Ooh, you just sold me. In Mobile, Darwin Singleton, NBC 15 News.
Darwin says check with your builder or insurance agent to see if your home might already fit into one of those fortified categories. And while you're at it, ask if your policy is a wind policy or a hurricane policy. The difference might just be a few dollars in a monthly premium, but it could make a huge difference in what you'll get if you have to make a claim. Of course, for more information on how you and your family can stay safe this hurricane season, we have all of that on our website, mynbc15.com. Just click on the Hurricane Center tab. I'm Chief Meteorologist Alan Seals. Thanks for joining us, and be safe.